Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the Cole Cast. Today we are at Blade Show 2023, interviewing different makers, interviewing people that we've done collabs with. So stay tuned, check it out. And for more information, check out coleiron.com. Thank you very much.
Okay, gentlemen, who the heck are you? Can you introduce yourselves, where you're from, and where people can find you on social media?
My name's Carver Gage. I'm from New Hampton, Iowa, and you can find me as Nordland Forge on TikTok. That is NORDLAND_Forge on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, I'm Eric Finch. I'm from Zillionople, Pennsylvania. Finch's Forge on Instagram and Finch for Fun over on TikTok.
Okay. I'm going to ask a boring question, then a really fun, weird question second. I think it's a good question. What are you guys most excited about Blade Show? And what do you want to gain from it? And, an experience here while you're here.
Oh, excited about, honestly, just being here. I've never been here. Last time I went to an expo like this was the Arnold in 2017. But I really want to learn more about leather work and just overall geometry and shapes, making things look cleaner, fit and finish. List goes on.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've never been to Blade Show. This is like the first time I've ever put in faces to names. And so honestly, I'm just taking in anything and everything I can here. I don't even want to pull my stuff out because the level of quality here is ridiculous. So I'm just absorbing everything I can while I'm here.
Okay, and the last question. In under 30 seconds, in a family-friendly way of describing, what's your most recent weird, unhinged dream? What's the most recent, bizarre dream that you've had? See, that's the problem. Some people don't dream. Under 30 seconds, no cussing.
I had a dream the night before I flew out that I missed my flight. And because the flight, my car, I hit like a moose, and then I got to the plane, and I was like having a Mission Impossible, like catch the plane with my hand and like hold on dear, But I didn't make it. I fell off and woke up. So
it's better than I got, man. I got nothing for you there.
All right, thanks for stopping by, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, so next one we got up is Brian from HouseMade.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Super stoked to have you on. You stumbled across our booth. You brought up that you actually listened to the podcast because somebody had tagged you in it.
Yes.
How did that go? How'd you find out that, I guess?
I was tagged by Sasquatch.
Okay.
So I followed him because I follow like the hashtag CNC, just because I love CNC work. I'm getting into that. I own a CNC, and then he's like my kind of guy, right? Hardworking, Midwesterner, just does his job, goes to work, does his job, loves his job, right? And then through happenstance, one of your other guys
Nigel had built
the Revolution grinder, which has been my project of my life for the last 5 years, which is really similar to what Nate built here.
Yeah.
And so following Cole Iron has been something, I don't own one of your pieces of equipment, but there's a ton of mutual respect. I just see what you're doing. You're bringing manufacturing back to the United States, which is important. And we feel the exact same way. Mm-hmm. American-made steel, making American-made products with Americans here. We're doing this work. And it's important because, COVID brought all kinds of, issues up to the surface about sourcing things from someplace in one place, and you can't get supply chain problems, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, guys like us come on the scene and go, we can do that. We'll do that here. How about that? And we'll build businesses and put jobs in place for people that want to actually make a difference in the world. And so I'm a free market capitalist. I believe in all that. But beyond all of that, I was a maker. So I was doing a lot of the same stuff. And I fell into the project because I was making knives in my garage. And I wanted a grinder for myself and came up with the concept of the Revolution and started building it and put it up on YouTube. And it became a kind of a social media trend where people were following it and asking me, okay, I want to do that too. How do I do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm a computer guy, but I'll try to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And then that was about 4 years ago. And now we have 5 employees. We're based out of South Florida, and we sell grinder kits, and we just got into the forge space. So we sell ribbon burner forge, and just like a do-it-yourself type forge built kit that you can put together, and that's been the basis of everything that we've been doing for the last 4.5 years, is enabling people to build their own tools, but we're kind of the support system behind it.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you have this idea of, like you said, everything got brought to the surface. How do I source this? We definitely had those problems as well. But this idea of the future's for the willing, right? Like, you can do it. It might take a little bit more hard work, might take a little bit of sleepless nights and staying up and figuring things out, but the future really is for the willing. And you mentioned Shiloh's your kind of guy. He's one of those guys that'll come in and we can go, hey, I need this done. And okay, well, let me figure it out.
Yes.
It's not, well, you can just call, we love Send Cut Send, but we don't just call Send Cut Send. Right. We go and see if we can get it done first. And it sounds like that's kind of where you're at as a business as well.
Yeah, we're prototyping. My first prototype was with a skinny wheel, just cutting steel by hand, and angle grinder, just putting it all together. And I think that the mass of people who are watching this on social media thought, wow, that's like, you're doing a lot of work to try to make something happen for yourself. And then it became infectious, right? Yeah. So now I can say that I can enable you to go off and build, and one of your guys built it in your shop at Coal Iron, which I didn't even know, by the way. I had no idea that this happened.
Literally scrap parts.
Yes. So I get mentioned on your podcast, somebody tags me in it, and I'm like, okay, this is another podcast I got to listen to. And and I love what you guys are doing. So I'm like, I'm into it. Let me watch it. It's legit. It's so good. It's produced. Multiple camera angles. It's like I'm watching Joe Rogan, but it's a bunch of guys down at my level. And they're all doing the same things I'm doing. So it's a feel good type deal, and you're also educating people about what you're doing.
Yeah.
The underlying tone about the Coalcast though is, hey, we're a bunch of guys just figuring this out, and we're working together to make it happen. Talking about workplace happiness, morale, all that stuff. It's not mentioned much anymore in our corporate culture, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Come to work, do your job, shut the F up, stuff like that.
Yeah.
In your place of work, it's not like that. It's, hey, we're all in this together, let's work together, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And I love that.
You get a lot of the conversation of quiet quitting, I think they call it now, where they say, this culture of quiet quitting. Those people just go to work and do their jobs. And then, they want that overreaching, that employee that's going to stay off the clock for an extra 10 hours a week. And what I really like about our shop is it's the opposite. I have an ownership core that will come in and they will do the extra work for us.
Yes.
So it sets that standard of like, hey guys, we really care about you. We care about our product and our customers, but we really care about the employees too. And every decision that goes into what we do is people-based. So it's really cool that you get that underlying tone, because it's something we strive really hard for, and it's not something we can really advertise. We can advertise American made, small town made. We're in a town of about 60,000 people. But it's hard to say, hey, our employees matter to us. So I appreciate the fact that you noticed that. And then also shout out Evan. I'm glad you noticed how hard he works and puts his time and effort into the podcast. So it's cool to hear that as well.
It inspires us to do better, because we have a podcast. It's called Work For It, and we discuss business in the workshop. That's it. So it's me, Ben Butler, and Brian Cohn. I'm a machine builder. Ben Butler's a woodworker, and Brian Cohn is a knife maker. And we're all in different stages of our development professionally.
Cool. Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
We all talk about what it's like to do business in the workshop. What does that look like? Because at Blade Show, where we are right now, there's 10,000 people in this room, and 9,000 of them are makers.
Yeah.
Right? They're all trying to do something with that time after work, or maybe they're wanting to go full time. Mm-hmm. What does that look like from a professional level? I didn't know how to do it. I was an entrepreneur for 15 years, and I still was figuring things out. So we discussed that on our podcast, but be able to look into the future and be inspired by what you guys are doing. You're ahead of where we are in a different space as far as the machines you build, but it's almost like we're living parallel lives moving forward.
Very similar, yeah.
Yeah, and we're behind you, but I'm so inspired because social media is really important from the standpoint of being able to document this fourth industrial revolution.
Right.
No one is documenting it, and we're all in it, living in it.
Yeah.
Right. And Mike Rowe talks about, a bunch of these guys are talking about this industrial revolution.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the United States? Look at what's happening here, and you will see the future, and it's a bright future.
Right, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, too, that we asked if you had a booth, and you said, no, I have to go to each booth because those are my customers.
That's where they are.
And it kind of hit something in my head, too. It was like, man, next year I'm going to bring somebody who just walks around as a cool representative.
Absolutely.
Because the idea of meeting your customer where they're at is so vital and so important. And here we are egotistically saying, we're going to have this big booth. Yeah, we're going to have all this cool stuff. Come to us. And it's like, those dudes don't have time to walk away because they're feeding their family.
That's right.
We need to go to them. So, yeah, thank you so much for saying that we inspire you, but even looking down and saying, okay, this guy that just kind of started up a couple years ago, we still need to pull inspiration from that.
Yeah.
You know, we can never be too big to look around us and see where we can do better and how we can improve.
Right on, man.
Cool.
Right on.
Well, you got anything to plug or anything to talk about? Your YouTube is HouseMade, right?
Yep. HouseMade.us on all social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And that's also our website, HouseMade.us.
Great.
And we sell grinders and forges and pieces, parts, and plans to all those projects.
Awesome. And then what was the name of the podcast again?
Work for it.
Work for it. Awesome. Well, that's it. I don't know if I need to do a sign off since these are all little blurbs. Okay, cool.
All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I need to introduce this absolute legend here, but why don't we have you introduce yourself? Who are you?
So my name is Dave Baker, and I work on a little show called Forged in Fire, making things.
Absolutely. And we are so grateful. Dave, how many years ago did you purchase a press from us?
3 or 4 years. So we were actually doing it was the first year of COVID.
Okay.
We were doing the show that we did from home.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, okay, you've got 3 weeks to do this.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, so I built an overhang, poured concrete for the first week.
Oh my gosh.
Your stuff showed up.
Uh-huh.
I had half the stuff poured, no forklift. So we laid plywood down from the gravel driveway, got this thing off the truck, rolled it into the thing.
Awesome.
I had to tear the door open because it wasn't high enough.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is you guys have always been spot on with everything I've needed to either upgrade the machine or get new parts for it or whatever. Because I put that thing through hell.
Yeah.
And
that's what we want. Absolutely.
I blew some pipes out on it once, and you guys had them to me within days, which was, again, if you're working as a professional, that's the kind of stuff that makes all the difference in the world. Having the ability to call your suppliers and say, look, I've got a deadline on Tuesday. It's Saturday and my machine's blown up. And Monday morning, the part's waiting for me. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you for we appreciate every time you give us a shout out and
it's a great
said
machine.
kind words.
And the neat thing is this new double-sided.
I know. It's devilish.
Cerberus.
And
we get a third head in there.
Yeah, we got the computer digital brain. It's fun.
It's beyond me, but I've been watching what you're doing here with it, and just blowing me away.
Appreciate it. Well, I've been asking everybody, the typical questions of like, oh, what do you enjoy about Blade Show? What are you learning? But and then I ask them the silly question. I can't. You're no exception. The silly question, the fun question is, and it's totally unblade related. What's the most recent weird, unhinged dream that you've had? And could you summarize it in under 30-ish seconds? I don't know, or is the world the world ready for it?
No, I've got one. And the funny thing is it was like a dream that ran into a waking dream. I was on I rode my motorcycle down to Key West from Virginia.
Yeah.
So I did about 3,500 miles. And when you're on the trip home and you're just riding dead out on the trip home, don't let that little guy get away.
Yeah. Hey. Get him out of here.
I haven't seen him in years. So you're on the road and you spend a lot of time in your helmet.
Yeah.
So I started remembering this dream I had about being stopped by a guy in an MG, and he was wearing like the off-white jeans and cowboy boots and like a sweater from the 60s, like a tennis sweater from the 60s. He kind of had a brush cut. He was smoking cigarettes the whole time he's talking to me. That's my dad.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And I didn't realize until I was 6 hours into riding home on the motorcycle where you get into this really weird vibe where your body's riding the bike and your brain's doing other things. And I realized that that's how my dad looked.
Oh, wow.
Back when I was a little kid.
Oh,
which was really cool. So it was a very weird, out of nowhere thing.
Sweet.
But the realization that the night before I had the dream about my dad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
While I was on the road. I'm like, I don't know what triggered the memory or anything else.
He was with you in spirit. Yeah, that's super cool. The other guys have shared some extremely unhinged one. That's a beautiful story. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you know. So when the ghosts come to visit, it's nice when they're good ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you so much. Thank you, sir.
No, it's great.
Love your
always
work.
Like I said, great service, great tools.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right. See ya.
Guys, what's up? We're here at Blade Show with Ed Soul. Do you have a name for your forge, or is it just Ed Soul?
It's Ed Soul Crafts.
Ed Soul Crafts. He's a longtime press owner, actually very involved with the company. So we wanted to grab him out of the crowd and give him the opportunity to talk about his relationship with us, and then also convince you to buy things that he makes, because they are truly some of the most, as far as makers and creators around us, it's some of my favorite stuff, and it's all done with just a little bit different. It's not something that no piece is ever the same. You make it different, you make it new every time, and I really like that. So go ahead and take it away.
My name's Ed Soul. So my name's Ed Soul. I am a proud owner of a 12-ton press, so 12-ton Tribe. The thing is amazing. Like, it's one of those things like, oh, it's small, it's a desktop. People, look down on it, but dude, that thing puts in work.
Yeah.
I love it. For like small batch billets of Damascus, Kumai, stainless sanmai, I have thrown everything I can think of it to try to make it not do something, and it always steps up to the plate. So I am a fan for life. And the fact that I'm 2 hours away, I can be like, hey, Francis, do you have a thing? Because I broke mine. And they're like, yeah, we come and get it. But huge fan of Coal Iron. Love them. Working on taking a class because, again, you guys are awesome. Started doing classes because we need them.
Yeah.
And like I said, looking forward to that. And I make chef knives, ADC knives, edsoulcrafts.com.
edsoulcrafts.com.
But and that's me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out.
Man.
Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Like I said, just wanted to grab you out of the crowd. I know that you said you don't have anything to plug, but there's always a chance to plug what you're doing. So thanks for coming out, and thanks for being a part of the tribe.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Francis.
All
right. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with an incredible brother in the craft, a dude I look up to and admire greatly, super inspired by. You can introduce yourself. Who are you?
All right, I'm Jordan LaMothe. I'm a full-time knife maker, ABS mastersmith in upstate New York.
Awesome. Before we get into my fun questions, where can people find you on the grams and on the interwebs?
Yeah, Instagram is the best. Jordan LaMothe Blades is my Instagram handle. You can also go to jordanlamote.com. That's my website. You find links to all of the other things, Facebook, YouTube.
Awesome. Incredible work.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was asking other people, normally kind of boring questions like, oh, what are you excited about Blade Show? But screw that. I want to ask you, could you briefly summarize your recent trip that I was just picking your brain about? Where did you go? Why did you go? And what did you gain from it?
Yeah, so I had the most amazing opportunity to go to India, a little town called Udaipur, Rajasthan in India, to study this technique called Kaftgari. And I was there for 9 months on a Fulbright grant from the U.S. State Department for research. And so I was working at the City Palace Museum in Udaipur, getting to document a lot of original historical Indian weaponry. And I was learning from a lot of these traditional craftsmen how to do Kaftgari and other various aspects of the sword making process that have been passed down through generations in India.
I love it. The glimpses you shared online were just like, we're truly on an adventure. Didn't a adorable but somewhat annoying blonde-haired little boy, kind of like golden retriever vibes, come and pester you on this trip from the States, like a Stelter?
Will Stelter. I invited Will to come over and visit, kind of on a whim, thinking, it's probably a long shot. And he's like, yeah, why not? And so he hopped on a plane and we took, so when Will was there visiting for just a week or so, I went on a road trip with Will and with Sandeep and Raul, who are the two master Kaftgari artists I was working with. And the four of us did a road trip around the state of Rajasthan, and we visited all the major museums.
Oh yeah, I saw
where
glimpses.
they're huge sword collections and whatnot. And so we got to look at. I think each of us has many hundreds of pictures that we took on that trip of various historical pieces, and then we culminated it with 3 days in Udaipur, in the city of Udaipur, which is really the center of this Kaftgari craft and the center of sword making in Rajasthan right now.
It's amazing. I was telling Jordan off camera, if or when he ever teaches a Kaftgari class, I'll be first to sign up. Because years ago I tried getting into it, and it's such an art form. It's so beautiful if you can execute it the way you are. So you were there for, how long was Will there? And when you guys were at the museum, were you guys able to hold originals and like study them, measure?
So, not at the major museums that we visited.
Okay.
We were just there as tourists, kind of, at the places like the Jaipur Museum and the Bikaner Museum and the Jodhpur Museum. But then when we got back to Udaipur, then Rahul and Sandeep have some pieces in their own collection that they allowed us to handle, and that was really fantastic.
Awesome.
I had the opportunity by myself at the City Palace Museum to handle some originals there, but that was kind of part of my own research, and wasn't able to get Will in there.
Please go check out his work. That's my professional question. The second question is our silly question that we're asking everybody, because we're a bunch of goofballs here at Coal Iron Works, and their question is, within 30 seconds, what's the most recent weird unhinged dream that you have had?
Oh man,
could you share it with us?
I'm not sure.
Or are you like me? Because our other conversation, this came up when we were hanging out. Like, I'm one of those people who I know I have insane dreams, but I barely remember them. I rarely remember them. Whereas our general manager, Francis, has the most insane dreams, and we were crying, laughing, hearing what he had. If you don't have any, that's fine.
I do have one dream. I don't know how recent it was, maybe a year or two ago, that sticks in my memory. And it was really odd because I was aware that I was dreaming in the dream. Yeah. And basically I was on the road. I had just crashed my car on the side of the road, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to explain to the tow truck driver that this was actually a dream, that I didn't really need help, but I was still stuck. And I had this major internal conflict in my brain about, am I dreaming or is this real? Yeah. And how am I going to explain to other people that this is a dream for me and maybe not for them?
That is awesome. That's a great movie script premise. If somebody steals that and makes it a screenplay. Yeah. Love it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Love your work, and
always.
Can't wait to go see it. So
vice versa.
Thank you.
So,
thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, you good? You can hear?
Yep, I can hear. Can you hear me? About fist distance right there?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All
right. I'm here with Eric from AmeriBrade. This was kind of a long drive for you guys, right?
Oh, yeah. Coast to coast, basically.
Yeah. Did you guys stop anywhere? Or did you just try to long haul it?
So Kevin actually drove this time and I flew out. So we always try to mix it up with the family, do a little vacation. So he drove with his family, but he stopped at Santa Fe Stoneworks. Shout out to them. They're doing some awesome work. Check them out.
Okay.
Then he dropped off a trailer at Cowboy Cerrone's ranch. We're going to do a knife making event with some teenagers there.
Cool.
And so I'm driving to New Mexico after this.
Oh, cool. So you got an even longer drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Evan and David drove down, and me and Logan flew out. So I show up and I'm like, guys, I'm tired. And they're, shut up. You don't get to complain.
Oh, yeah.
So cool. So you're driving out and you're doing talk to me about the event you're doing in New Mexico. You said you're making knives with some teenagers?
Yeah, so they handpick a group of 35 teenagers, and they teach them things like survival skills, driving skilles, and a few other things, but we're doing Tomahawk class. Neil Kamamura and Andreas Kalani, Seth Lopez, and Adrian Curley are all going to handle the forging side, and we're going to teach them grinding.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how was this blade show? You guys have a good turnout, good time?
Yeah, we had a really good turnout. We wanted to showcase the work of some of the people who use our grinders. So we had Josh Prince, Neil Kamamura, Mareko Malmasi, and Charles Lionheart, Charlie Ellis in our booth, and it was awesome.
Cool. Did we get any sneak peeks or any unveilings of things that might be in the works?
Oh yeah, we unveiled something we're really excited about. We call it our hyper disc because it's way more than just a disc grinder.
Okay.
So,
give us a rundown.
Yeah, I think the problem we were trying to solve is space for people with small shops. It's a 1 horsepower variable speed motor that can do all the things that you need out of a bench grinder with a quick change toolless system. So you can go from disc grinding to buffing to wire wheel work to CBN wheel to, I'm not sure I said spindle sanding, but...
Sounds like there's a lot to get lost in there,
Yeah, and we got lots more ideas from people at the show of different things that we could add on to it. It's just like an open platform that we're going to keep developing stuff for. And
awesome.
People are really excited about it. So it's on pre-sale right now. So
it's orderable now. This wasn't just like, hey guys, should we do this?
Nope, not at all. We've been already going through iterations back at our shop, and we got it ready to a point that it's ready to sell. And early adopters are getting a good price. Anybody willing to buy one early?
Okay.
We're doing heavy discounts right now, and grab one, and we'll have them ready hopefully in about 8 weeks to start shipping.
Awesome. You guys have your original Instagram back, right? So they can just check out AmeriBrade on AmeriBrade's Instagram?
Oh yeah, check out on Instagram. We got a video of it, and hopefully we'll post some more content of it after the show.
Cool. Well, we're going to wrap up. I have one question.
All right.
What makes a chili dog a chili dog? Do you have to have a certain list of ingredients, or can it just be chili on a hot dog?
I think I'm a Wiener Schnitzel heritage. I come from a long line of Wiener Schnitzel workers, so all it needs is just chili on a dog.
Okay, chili on a dog. See, that's an overwhelming answer, and I think I've been proven wrong, but my pride won't let me. I think you have to have mustard, then chili, then cheese, then onions. It has to be that layout.
Nah, I think you're in the 1% of weirdos who thinks that.
Yeah, I'm for sure in the minority, but my pride still tells me I'm right. So thanks so much for coming out and talking to us. Check out AmeriBrade on their actual Instagram again, which is good news for anybody that was following that story. And we look forward to seeing what you're doing the rest of the summer, but also the next coming up year. I know that you guys have a lot of plans and a lot of events to go to. So
yeah, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I'm here with a dear friend who just joined us out at the Cole School of Iron. This is Mr. Chad Bowlin. Tell us about yourself. Where can people find your work, and where are you at?
Well, I am a bladesmith, Central Florida, DeLand area, a little bit southwest, I'd say, of Daytona Beach, maybe 30 minutes or so. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Black Hog Knives is the name of my company, my shop. I do custom pieces, culinary. I do a lot of classes. I teach a lot of classes, just like David does here. Basic introduction to bladesmithing, Damascus, things like that, private classes, so on and so forth. And then when I find time, I actually finish a knife. So
that's great. Your classes look awesome. So yeah, anybody who's new to the craft who wants to learn in Florida, hit this guy up.
I run classes almost all year. I think December is the only month this year where I don't have a class like every weekend. I've got to take some time off to rearrange the forge.
So you teaching so often was an honor for you to come in and be a student in my class, because I want to learn from you, but it was fun to teach.
Well, when I saw that email go out about the class, I jumped on it. What did you say? I was like
yeah, you literally were within what was it, Evan, 35, 40 minutes after Chad signed up.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, I'm in. I'm on it. I've always wanted to do it. I've always been a fan of your work, so I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I even tried to bribe him with whiskey.
Which in irony, I got really sick during the class. The whiskey probably would have done me well.
See, probably would have helped.
So I should have listened to him. Yeah. But we had a blast. Chad came out for sword class I taught, and this is relevant to talk about because I'm going to teach another one of those upcoming in November. And the guy behind the camera is the adult. I'm not. He's in charge of the schedule. So you have to go to coleschool.com to see the exact dates in November, because I'm blanking on it. It's before the 18th, right? It's like 16th, 15th, something like that. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have 4 or 5 guys and pretty much make the same swords that we made.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great experience. You'll love it. It's a fun class. You got a great teacher. David's awesome. You'll learn a lot.
What's hilarious about these guys is I just loved you guys. You guys are all competent bladesmiths, blacksmiths, and they come out and I'm like, yeah. First day we started like around 9 a.m. because I'm a slowpoke and not a morning bird. And I'm like, yeah, maybe by the end of the day we'll have our blades rough ground. I'm like, here's the grinders, go for it, guys. I blink, and by like an hour later, they all have their blades perfectly rough ground. I'm like,
so we're ready to heat treat, right? You're like, oh, this was day 2. It's like, well, we're here, we're ready, let's do it.
Some of the guys are like, can I make a second sword? I'm like, oh, let's be careful. You've been to Blade Show in the past, right? What year? What year is this?
So I was actually, this is my second year having a table at Blade Show here in Atlanta. I've had a table when it was in California, and before that, I just attended.
Cool.
This is the second year with a table.
Awesome. I've come so many years with Cole, and I'm thinking in the distant future I'd like to have a table and sell and learn stuff like that from you. And it's just such a great event. Even if you don't sell things, it's like just the networking and the connection.
It's not just that, but then you get to see people that you only really talk to through social media. You don't get to see them face to face. It's cool to actually put like, oh, this is your actual who you are outside of social media. This is like, oh, okay. Maybe you do like me, maybe you don't. It's great meeting everyone and talking and just sharing ideas.
We earlier just met a couple guys who are used to the gun world, and they're like, this is way nicer than the gun world. Like, everybody's friendly and nice, and nobody's like broy and pretentious.
Yeah,
and
most I find all bladesmiths are really cool. They all want to help you in some way, some shape or form, like better yourself.
Exactly. So I'll share, I'm going to embarrass myself and be honest and tell a story that he's like, you don't need to share that. I need to. Chad took my class. This is how scatterbrained Mr. Cedarlore artist is. Chad took my class, made a beautiful sword. You were one of the people who flew, so obviously you couldn't take it home with you. So you were like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to ship it off to you and get it to you in time for Blade Show. I've got a 6-year-old juggling life, running around like a crazy person and sick. And I'm like, I got plenty of time. I'll ship it to Chad. I'll get it to him. And a weekend comes, and I'm like, surely I got enough time. Take it to post, or took it to UPS. And they're like, it was right before Memorial Day. We can't get it to him until Thursday. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'll ship it off, and hopefully it'll get to him in time. I call him up, and I'm like, Chad, it'll be there Thursday. I hope that's before you leave. And he's like, oh well, wait, you could just bring it.
We're going to the same place.
Completely spaced that we're going to the same place.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, so then I get here Thursday and I see him. I walk around the corner. I'm like, where's my sword? And then I found out 30 minutes later it arrived at my house.
Oh, man. So, well, thank you for still associating with me despite my
of course.
terrible ability to ship something off in time.
Now you just got to let me take another class. Just
absolutely. Yeah. Anything you learned from me in that class, feel free and teach your own version of sword class.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
It's been a blast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sweet.
So now we got Seth Lopez from, it's just Seth Lopez Bladeworks, right?
Yeah.
It's a very simple forge name to remember. Seth Lopez Bladeworks. Before I let you say a single word, I want to tell you not only how I was introduced to you, but probably 95% of the people that work at Cole Ironworks.
Okay.
So we were playing a game, and I think you know the story. I think we actually just decided you know the story, but
I think I know what you're about to say. Yeah.
we were playing a game, just telling each other what foods we would be, and we were making fun of David, and we were like, oh, you would be like soybeans because you're a soy boy, and somebody was like, oh, I would be chicken on a stick from the Chinese food, and we were like, that's very weird. I think Evan was a lion's head mushroom, something really extravagant and exotic, and all this stuff, and without a doubt, the one person that we could all agree on was Seth Lopez's steak. Nice. A perfectly cooked, thick tomahawk steak. I didn't know you. Nathan had only seen pictures. I don't think Evan knew you.
Yeah.
And so only like 2 guys in the group actually knew you. But somehow everybody was like, oh yeah, 100%, that's steak. So we started calling you Steak Lopez. And David, being David, walked up to your wife and goes, hey, by the way, we're all in love with your husband.
Yeah.
And she was like,
that's totally Dave.
who are you?
Yeah.
I don't know who you are. So for like 3 months, I feel like every time that we interacted, you had to be like, is this weird? These guys are all like talking about me at dinner, and I've never met them.
Yeah. So. I'll take it. I'll take steak, salmon, whatever.
Salmon's a good one too.
Yeah.
Salmon's super good. Well, after that event, you came out and you hung out with us at the shop for a week or so. You made some mosaic, and we did a couple videos in it. We all got to know you, got to love you. And you're here at Blade Show this year with this thing.
Yes,
It
sir.
is ridiculously beautiful.
So I don't have a name for this yet, but if you're not watching and just listening, it's pretty much my take on a Greek Xiphus sword. So it's a short sword, about like 25-ish inches overall. Kind of a not so random pattern Damascus, gold leaf inlays, and all that fun stuff. And,
I'm gonna let go because I'm afraid that if you let go, then I'll just not actually be holding it. But it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is, I don't want to say this is your typical work, but this is your typical caliber of work. You don't do the same thing twice. Like, you do very new and interesting things. And I think I said that about somebody else that I talked to. But I always think that's super cool, where you don't fall into a groove. David has a very specific, when you see his style, it is very his style, right? Peter Lyons has the same thing, where it's like, oh man, like that is his style. I like that. I am surprised every time I see you put a blade out. Is that something that you think about when you're like, I've already done something like that, let me try something new? Because it seems like it's not just the end product. I also see you trying new techniques and different approaches to what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely kind of two sides to it. So on one end, you get to explore a lot and kind of try new techniques and build your repertoire of skills that you can use in knife making and in other crafts. On the other end of that, I feel like maybe I'm not building a recognizable enough style by jumping around so much between different projects. But I feel like you can kind of attain that style where someone can recognize one of your pieces across the room just by little subtleties you do. So I try to kind of keep similar ratios and shapes and like just very subtle things that I do to hopefully make those more recognizable and also be able to kind of jump in multiple different directions and explore new avenues of knife making.
Yeah, so you don't want to take away from your creativity by putting yourself in a box and saying this is a Seth Lopez blade. Like this is, I know exactly. But at the same time, when you pick it up and you feel it and you kind of look at it, that's when it's like, oh yeah, I can tell Seth made this.
Yeah,
is that kind of the aim you're going for?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that kind of recognizable aspect of my work will kind of build over time. I don't think it's something that kind of happens overnight. But yeah, as time progresses and stuff, I'll probably fall more into a recognizable style. But at this point, I still feel like I'm very early on.
Yeah, you've not been doing it's. Not, you didn't discover this at 7 years old like a lot of people. You're fairly new to this, right?
Fairly new. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so since you're fairly new, and since this is kind of a big who's who of bladesmithing, who are some of the people that you've met that have inspired you either the past couple years or this year? What are some of the things that you've seen at Blade Show that are like, okay, I can keep doing this?
So I guess the first one, without question, and I'm sure everyone knows I'm going to say this, is Jason Knight.
Okay.
Met him a few years ago, and even before, like watching his YouTube videos and stuff, and then just following his work really caught my eye and kind of inspired a lot of shapes and techniques and stuff that I use.
He does a great job of, they're very functional and very could be historic, but also have a very mythical feel, have a very fantastical feel.
Definitely, and just the flow of his lines and everything about his piece and how comfortable he can make a handle. He'll pass you like a huge chopper, and the first time I grabbed one of his choppers, I was like, okay, like I don't know how this is gonna feel, and I grabbed it, and it literally fit in my hand and made me want to go and chop down trees and just like swing it around and everything. I'm like, okay, that was a big moment for me. I'm like, all right, I need to somehow be able to achieve this. And he's doing something right. So
I love that he still has fun with it too. Like he's not an old curmudgeon-y. Like he kind of is, but it's in a fun way. Like he's very enjoyable to be around. He wants to talk. He wants to share his knowledge. And like I said, he still has a lot of fun. And I feel like if it stopped being fun, he'd stop doing it. And I really respect that out of him.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that we're all trying to attain, but just still having fun and not making it like, oh, I have to go in and make this knife. And that's something also to our last point, like me jumping around so much between different styles and types of projects, it keeps it fun for me and it keeps me interested.
Yeah. Instead of making the same thing twice.
Yeah.
All
Exactly.
right. Well, what do you got coming up? What do you got to plug? What does everybody need to know is coming out of Seth Lopez Bladeworks?
So next year I'm up for Journeyman Smith.
Okay.
So I'll be testing for that. I got to make my performance test knife, figure that all out, and pass that test. And then after that, I will make my 5 presentation pieces. So up until that point where I start making those, I'll just be kind of practicing the techniques and stuff that are in the parameters of that presentation set. And just kind of nail those skills down and then make my set. So for next Blade show, I can test.
Cool.
Other than that, dude, just doing weird stuff like this and having fun with it. And honestly, like, my brain is all over the place. Like, I could want to make one thing one week and then the next day, like, have a totally different avenue of something that I want to create. So we'll see what's in store, but I'm excited.
Are we able to, do you think you're going to be documenting a lot of it, making some content on Instagram or anything of your certification blades, or is that something you're going to keep kind of low-key and private, unveil at once?
At this point, not sure. I'll probably document it just because I'm still part-time and I don't create many pieces a year, so just that content would be good. Okay. I'll probably document it. So.
Okay, cool. And your Instagram is just Seth Lopez Bladeworks, right?
Yes,
I keep saying just Seth, but
no, yeah.
That's how
Seth
you find
Lopez
him
Bladeworks.
anywhere. Is Seth Lopez Bladeworks. You also just recently upgraded from a 12-ton to a 25-ton with the DPC.
Oh yeah.
Which I will highly suggest that anybody does because there's a lot of families that I'm trying to feed. So thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely.
I guess stick around and see who we interview next.
All right.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Francis. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I don't want to introduce people. I want them to introduce who they are. I can say that I'm a huge fan and admirer of this incredible artist's work. Who are you?
My name is Jackson Robertson. I don't necessarily do swords and blades yet, but I design playing cards.
Sweet.
And I've been a playing card designer for probably the past 10 years.
Awesome. And where can people find your stuff?
You can find my website is kingswildproject.com on the internets.
Fantastic. If any of you guys are familiar with our friends Mark and Dale Winburn at Winburn Steel, you'll notice they had some beautiful marketing just come forth out of nowhere, and it came from this guy's brain and hand.
From the bowels.
Yes. So he's been doing work with them. But yeah, I've been asking people, like, I don't know, is this your first time at Blade Show?
This is my first time to Blade Show.
Okay.
And let's just say I was not let down. I had expectations in my head.
Yeah.
But they were exceeded.
Awesome. Yeah, it's quite incredible. What are you looking for this year? What are you looking to get out of it? Network, business.
I think a lot of it, so much of what I do and so much of my own inspiration comes just from ingesting interesting and inspiring artwork.
Yeah.
And I've always been interested in knives and blades and things of the such, but it's really just been in the past like 6 to about a year probably that I've really kind of diving into it deep.
Yeah.
And it's interesting whether it's illustration or print or metalworking or engraving, like there's so much inspiration that can be found in all kind of different forms.
Yeah.
And then you get to learn, and then you get to meet all the people.
Exactly.
All the people.
Yeah. Have you met my buddy Jason Knight yet?
Oh yeah,
incredible. Yeah, you guys are like kindred, long lost brothers.
I've been out there twice to his place.
Awesome.
With Winburn Steel, the guys, and just like designing some swords and sketching and stuff like that. And then they let me hit some metal too.
There you go. You're hanging out with the right people.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a professional question I've been asking people. The second weird, silly question: what's the most recent and totally unblade related in under 30 seconds? What's the most recent unhinged, strange dream you've had?
Unhinged, strange dream.
Strange dream that you could share.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, and this is probably going to sound really stupid, but you can even ask my crew, the people that work for me.
Yeah.
Like, I literally have this thing where I will have a crow that visits me at night in my dreams.
Whoa.
And that crow, no, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid or crazy. But in the past,
that's awesome.
I think I've designed like 400 decks, but like out of that, I probably have had 8 or 9 decks of cards. The ideas and concept come from dreams where the crow visits me.
That's cool.
I know I probably should go get some help like that.
No.
But it's totally a real thing.
I love it.
If you ask my crew, like, hey, what kind of dreams does Jackson have? And they'll go, the crow visits him. and the funny thing is it 98% of the time it happens after I've had smoked meat. Like, because I love smoking meat, so like if a bunch of brisket, and then all of a sudden, I know the crows meet me tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, crows are like insanely intelligent. And my girlfriend, her family, they built a friendship with a crow that would literally come and visit them. They named him and stuff. So there's real power there. People watching this probably think I'm nuts because I thought that we, as me and Francis as the interviewees, were going to ask this question. I'm the only one who's been asking the dream question, and people watching need to understand that this came from weird dreams that Francis had. So I'm not.
No, it's legit. It's totally legit.
Yeah. It's, I'm the kind of guy that can't remember what he dreamed, but it's just And
it's been happening to me. It's happened to me so many times that. If the crow visits me in my dreams, I do a thing where I try to wake up and write it down. That's cool. I don't know if you knew that people like Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
He would sleep with a pocket watch with a long chain.
Really?
He would try to fall asleep with a pocket watch because in that kind of twilight zone between when you're awake and you're going to sleep, you have your brain just gets released.
Yeah.
And right when he would fall asleep, the watch would fall out of his hands and hit the ground, and it would make him wake up, and he would write down his ideas. Sorry, this is what the podcast was.
Yes,
what about your weird, freaky dreams we're going to talk about?
This is why we're friends now. And you're not going to be able to get rid of me as a friend.
Yeah.
I love it. Dude, well, thank you. Go follow his work. Super inspiring. We're gonna think of some opportunities and excuses to collaborate and work together. And thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
All right, what's up, guys? We're here with Silas from Tiny Town Forge.
How's it going?
Maybe the most notorious 12-ton abuser on the internet. My favorite thing about your videos is not actually the work you put out. It is watching you absolutely try to decimate the valve on our 12-tons.
Well, yeah, that's the way to do it, in my opinion. But it's a whole lot of fun. When you only got 12 tons, you kind of just got to rip it up and down and hope for the best. But
work with the speed, not with the tonnage.
Yeah, because it's a pretty fast machine. So
last year we didn't bring the DPC for the 12-ton.
Yeah,
and you were doing a little demonstration with us, and nobody was commenting on what you were doing aside from, oh my God, is he gonna break that? And I think you actually sold more units for us, just based off the fact that they were like, oh man, that can really take a pounding.
Well, yeah, no, it actually can. I haven't broken anything yet, so
cool. Good. How long have you had one?
Oh man, it's been 3 years.
Okay.
At least, and it's it's running every day. It's getting ripped around pretty often.
So you've got year one. You've got the OG model.
Oh yeah. Okay. I've got one of the first I think big time production ones.
Okay. Cool. So now that I've spent some time ripping on you, what have you been up to lately? I hear that you're hanging out with Jimmy DiResta and working out of his shop.
I'm not exactly in his shop, but I work in his storage space.
Okay.
So but I'm.
So maybe someday we can move you into the shop.
Well, he's got 4 or 5 shops, maybe 3, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what kind of stuff are you working on? Do you have anything to talk about or to pitch?
I got a bunch of integral chefs always laying around, pretty much always available for sale. So, and they're up on my website, up on my Instagram.
Okay.
Floating around. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Once again, this is Silas, Tiny Town Forge. Check him out on Instagram, on his website. What? Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to ask you a question about chili dogs.
I'm ready.
I forgot about that. So I have a very specific way I believe chili dogs are made.
Okay.
And you can't just call a chili dog because you put chili on it. It's mustard, chili, onions, and cheese.
Mustard, chili, onions, and cheese.
Yes.
To make a chili dog.
To make a chili dog. Specifically a chili dog.
If you're missing one of those, is it suddenly not a chili dog?
You could call it a chili dog minus onions, or a chili dog minus cheese. But I believe the chili and the mustard are the most important parts.
Well, I mean, it's a compound word, chili dog, right? Mm-hmm. So, in theory, right, all you need is the chili and the dog to make a chili dog.
Yeah, but I'm on the other side of the fence where facts are versus feelings, you know? You feel like it should just be chili and dog.
Right.
But historically, that's just not proven accurate, in my experience. You know?
I mean, I guess to some extent it probably depends on like where you grew up and what kind of chili dogs you had available to you when you were young.
That's fair. You're Northeast, right? You're up,
okay. New York. So
what kind of chili dogs they got up there?
I honestly wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
I can't eat chili. I can't eat gluten, but
well, that's rough.
Yeah, it is.
I sound like a jerk.
Yeah, no.
All right, we're leaving. Go ahead and buy lots of stuff to make me feel less bad about interviewing him and bringing up his gluten intolerance on national TV. Thank you so much, guys. Keep listening.
Chili dogs are great, though.
All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to our season finale. So there's going to be a break for a couple weeks while we spool up the next season 2 of Colecast, starting with some special guests. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for checking this out and staying along for the ride. I'm Nathan Brandt. It's great to see you here. Good night.